Hey there, guys. This is Flamzeron, aka YouTube's Toske. As of the day I'm recording this, which is I think like basically just a Saturday night, Sunday morning, but I just watched the AVGN movie with a few of my friends, and so I figured I should give a little review on it, because that's what everyone's doing. This will have spoilers, and I know that I don't know. It still kind of seems like this mystical thing that like you may not be able to see, and it's kind of surreal to finally have it out. And I like it because I know there were certain specific fans who would speculated that he was just that James was just like a money grubbing asshole, and he was just a fraud. And of course now here he is. He's actually made his movie. It'll be interesting to it'll be interesting to see what those certain people think of him now. Of course, they might even not like the movie, but for me, well, I'll go into what I think about it. Overall, I liked it. Visually, even though it was made using practical effects and not CGI, and James had already stated like why he wanted to do that. It makes sense. And he had a lot of money, so I mean, obviously he could afford to do it. It was probably a lot cheaper than, Iron Manning the entire movie or Guardians of the Galaxy the entire movie, I guess we'll say. I don't know. But all the effects were practical. But there were some times where it did look a little too cheesy and noticeable, and I felt like it kind of contrasts with the overall quality of the movie, because even though it's an independent film with practical effects, it still looks really high quality. Like, honestly, it looks really, really high quality. And even though I feel like he does some stuff on purpose to kind of make fun of stuff, like, not everyone's gonna get it, even if you understand that the movie's supposed to be kind of cheesy. So I feel like maybe touch up the effects a little bit. I don't think he had to do CG, though I don't see why doing one CG effect would have mattered. I would have made it for something important, though, like something that could work either way. But it was funny, it was silly. I kind of like how this movie how it took place more in like the world in which the nerd universe would take place in. And I liked how he had like these other characters with him. I kind of feel like he's sort of developing like this cast of characters. Like, it's almost like you're making a story rather than just making videos on the internet and like a YouTube series or whatever. I like that he's he's sort of kind of branching out and like making the nerd world, even though we have seen some other, Mike Matei as various characters, and of course Kyle Justin, the guitar guy, and Lloyd Kaufman, just all these other characters. And speaking of characters, there are plenty of cameos. Like, there's one of Pat the NES Punk and the Nostalgia Critic and some other people I didn't know, but it's cool to see all these cameos. And then it's really cool to see all these to see them on, all the extras they got. I thought they did pretty well. Like, it's really it was really well put together. I just think it could have been a little bit better in some extra areas. Now, I feel like with the digital release on Vimeo, this is almost like the theatrical release. I feel like this is almost like just a global tour, if you will. So probably the DVD will have some better stuff with it. I think it's going to come out like in November or December. So obviously he's working on it right now, and I do plan on getting it on DVD. Though since I bought it off of Vimeo, which you definitely should, because it's just $10, people. Like, I heard about how some people were getting angry that he was charging and you had to pay for the movie, but it's like, it's a fucking, like, think of it as like a movie theater. That's sort of the way I think of it. I had some trouble with the HD version, though, so I had to watch it in SD, but that's okay. It still looked really good. And I don't know, maybe watching it in HD would have kind of made the things I noticed about it with its cheesiness a little more noticeable. Like, there's this one scene near the near the big climax where these two girls are fighting, without giving too much away, and the good girl beats the bad girl, and the girl, like, kind of falls that show her like kind of falling off the building they're on. She kind of just like disappears into the background, like kind of like the Ninja Turtles thing with the guy doing the water. So I feel like with that one, it was pretty clear that he was trying to make fun of it, but at the same time, I felt like some of the jokes were a little too. And some of them were a little too corny, and it kind of clashed with the overall polish of the film. I guess that's sort of my roundabout way of giving it a compliment. Like it's really, really polished to the point where I feel like some of the cheesiness and low budgetness of it kind of takes away from it, I think. But the plot I thought was fine. James had already said it's not going to be like a nerd review. In fact, there's not even a nerd review in the entire movie until the end where he finally does review it. And, it's still kind of in character of the movie, and it still takes place in, like, this one scene. In fact, the movie kind of ends on, like, a slight little cliffhanger where, like, it shows him, like, he's about to review the E.T. game, and it shows, like, a controller coming down. He kind of grabs it, and then it kind of fades out, and then the credits come. But when the credits comes in, he's actually reviewing the game. And I feel like it kind of makes sense. Like, I'm fine with that. And even though it's in character, it's still the game. Like, in this, they tried to avoid copyright issues with certain stuff, because obviously internet videos, it's a little bit different. Plus, it's a review, so he could get away with more recording stuff. But with like other stuff, and for like the movie, he had to. I mean, you could tell what game he was trying to showcase or like mention, but it wasn't like the actual game. It was like some sort, like, it was almost like they took like a different, like, put the game through like a palette swap or something. For E.T., they use the actual footage, as far as I can tell. I actually have played it before, but so it's not like he's reviewing a different game and it's just kind of cloaked as E.T. It is spelled differently, but it's still E.T. And it's like he still reviews it at the end, and he gives like his. I feel like his overall review might disappoint some people. He kind of does his usual James Rolfe. It's kind of interesting because I feel like it kind of symbolizes him sort of breaking out of the nerd character and giving like an actual like review. Because I feel like James Rolfe kind of sees things a little differently than most people do. He kind of looks at things at a different angle. And I think because he's a filmmaker, that approach, that's why he kind of has that approach. And I think that approach kind of helps him with his ideals and like what he wants to do with his movies. And so I think because of that, he looks at things a little differently. Like, I feel the same way about my writing. I feel like I try to go beyond like the story and like, okay, well, why do they do that? Like, they're saying this, but what are they actually saying? What sort of other symbolism is there? And of course, not everything's intentional. And of course, a lot of people are just going to be like, oh yeah, totally, that's totally what I meant, just to make themselves look smarter. But I'm going a little bit off topic, I guess. But I felt like, it didn't really seem like the AVGN was. It almost seemed like James was reviewing the game. It was kind of interesting. It might have just been because of the movie format, but it almost seemed like it wasn't really a movie about the nerd. Like, it wasn't like the nerd like breaking out of his shell, quote unquote, and being in a movie. It was almost like James Rolfe was playing a character. I don't know. I think it's because he doesn't do too many he hasn't been doing too many AVGN episodes lately, and he's been doing like other stuff like the Mike and James Play Mondays, or James and Mike Play Mondays, or whatever you call it. And I think because of that, I don't really see him as like the AVGN that much anymore. I kind of see him as like James Rolfe, the filmmaker, the nerd. I don't mean like like literally a nerd, someone who likes nerdy things, a geek, or someone who likes music, comic books, and games. I really would like to see him do some anime reviews. I don't know if he's really into anime that much, but basically what I'm trying to say is I feel like it almost seemed more like, I feel like the I guess what I'm getting at, it seemed like more his dreams of making a movie kind of shined through the fact that it was an AVGN movie. It seemed more clear to me that he was using the AVGN as sort of like an outlet to follow his dreams, and for that I am extremely proud, and I was glad I was able to help. I did donate, and it was kind of cool because he put like all the donators in the credits, and my name was listed. I think that's kind of cool. That's actually really cool. I feel like I was part of something bigger than I've ever really done in my entire life, besides a certain translation project, which I'll eventually reveal once it's all good to go. But if I haven't revealed it, I don't even remember. What am I even talking about? What movie is this again? No, I'm kidding. But the movie, I liked it. I liked it's for a indie movie with practical effects. Like I said, it looked really good. It really had a lot of polish to it, and because of that, I feel like some of the cheesy effects that he did, like cheesy realistic effects, I feel like kind of took away from the quality. It definitely had some charm to it, but I felt like because of the contrast, it kind of took away a little bit. The use of like model cars and whatnot I thought was fine, because I mean, honestly, besides the amount of money it would cost to burn a real car, it would probably be really wasteful. But I thought it was pretty good. But and I like the like Cooper and the girl and the old man, and I think his name was Xandar or something. I really thought I thought it was kind of cool to that now he sort of has like this established nerd world and character, and it kind of starts off like the AVGN working in like a video game store along with Cooper, and he plays an online game, and it's kind of funny how like I kind of like that aspect of it, where his computer is actually the Commodore 64. And I know probably at the time that was an actual computer, but I can't help but see that as an old video game console. I don't know. I just can't help but see it that way personally. That's just me. But yeah, I mean, really, it was good. I liked it. The story was silly, and like cheesiness, it wasn't too much. I still feel like the movie was still pretty good. Really, I liked it. It was cool, and I liked seeing my name in the credits. And if James, if you happen to be watching this, I'm proud of you for following your dream, and thanks for 10 friggin' years of making funny videos. Like, you helped me get through middle school, like the remainder of middle school, and like a fair amount of high school. I wish I had gotten into you a lot earlier, but you helped me. You really entertained me over the years, and I feel like you also kind of inspired my video making skills, or like my what I do with my videos. Like, I'm obviously not a filmmaker; I'm a writer. But yeah, thanks for making an awesome movie, James. If you're watching this, and overall, I'd give it probably like a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really good, and look forward for more awesome content. So yeah. This is Flamzaron, aka YouTube Sasuke, signing out, or Ryan Burton, as you'll probably see in the credits. I don't mean to plug myself, but yeah, 9 out of 10. Pretty good movie. Definitely go see it, or get it on DVD or whatever, or just go ahead and buy it. I mean, on Vimeo, it's $10. It's going to be a lot cheaper than it will be on DVD. I promise. But yeah, this is me signing out. See you later.